Sanko boy policeman a come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police a come and the gala holla murder. Police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Police a come and the gala holla murder. Police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come.
Sanko chasey love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chasey love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police a come and the gala holla murder. Police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Police a come and the gala holla murder. Police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come.
Sanko squeezy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko squeezy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police a come and the gala holla murder.
Maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jerome?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he lives next door to you.
Yes.
You know, he was able to arrange meetings and catch-ups with you at any point in the day. He claims
as a friend, yeah.
He claims that through his very close relationship with you, he's able to get any deal done.
Well, I don't know if that's
able to change laws for investors.
But then which law has been changed for any investor?
So Sue told us that if you want to get anything done in Guyana, you need some hookups. I'm very close with the Vice President and the other officials. The Vice President and I share a very close relationship. Also, if we do the business, he'll help out no matter what. There's no one else who can help like he does. He also said us when he's talking about prospect investors that the Vice President said he can change the Constitution. He said he can manage. Everything is going to be done soon. He's really treating us as brothers. He's already trying to help us as much as possible. Of course, I need to give back to him in return.
Yeah, but that is, I don't know about giving back, but I do that to everybody who comes to my office. The American companies come here to see me and they need a meeting. You ask to see me. I have an open door policy since I was president, so people come to see me. But I've had a long history of being in public office, and we never had any of this stuff that you talk. And all my accounts are clear. If you are coming here with specifics, so I just heard what you read, and that's totally accurate. I help out as many people as I can. That's totally accurate what you read there. Unbelievably accurate. It's accurate. So I help people out, but it doesn't mean for consideration. It does not mean for bribe, because I believe that we have a mission to help as many people as possible move forward in this country.
Well, Sue also told us that, the amount will divide between the Vice President. It's going to be a service or process.
Oh, really?
If we're going to do business together, my boss is not going to directly receive the money. Obviously, it's not going to directly transfer to him. The service charge is 4% of the total. It's not only me, most of it's the Vice President. Mm-hmm. Do you use middlemen like Sue in order to take money on your behalf so that you can keep your hands clean?
No. The answer is no.
Why do you think that Sue would say this?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
I mean, he's saying it because he, as he understands it, that's the truth.
Well, no, that's he understands it, so that's why you have to ask him. But the answer is no.
So why do you think he's saying this to us?
I don't know. I don't know why. You ask him about that.
I mean, he's saying that,
Yeah, but I just said to you, I don't know. If you're hoping,
this is how it works.
if you're hoping to, again, to drag me into this, catch me, I got you there. I told you already no, and I told you already what you said there at the beginning. You read the part, and that's pretty accurate. That I help a lot of people who come here. A ton of people call me about getting this interview with you, people that I don't even know. And I left the Parliament building because I came here for it. It doesn't mean it's for consideration. I do help a lot of people. So if you're looking to catch another, you have to get more details. You have to come with evidence. This is all hearsay. In this country, you could say anything. It's all hearsay.
So you're saying that Mr. Sue, your close friend who lives next door to you, who meets up with you at any point of the day that he needs, is lying.
Yes, if he told you that. But I'm not saying that he told you that.
You're saying that we're lying.
You could possibly be, but I don't know. If he told you that, it's not true.
Sue has shown us very lucrative contracts between himself and Chinese state-run corporations to develop big infrastructure projects in Guyana. He told us that China State Construction Engineering Corporation, they helped the Chinese company to make a deal. Up to now, they've paid me $500,000. It's not to me. I haven't taken a single penny. It's to my boss, the vice president.
China State, what?
China State Corp. It's the China State Construction Engineering.
Which company? I don't even know what contract.
China State Construction. It's one of the biggest construction companies in the world.
In oil?
No, in construction, in building infrastructure.
Well, but I can't comment because it's not true again. It's not true. Yes,
but
it's
we've
not.
seen that he is someone he's an agent, right? He's someone who negotiates contracts so that for foreign companies coming into this country.
Yeah, but it's not true. I don't know. You're asking me to comment on someone whose business basically I don't know about. I don't get involved with him beyond the.
All right, we're definitely going to move away from that. We have paused it. Just let me let you guys know that, and I should let you guys know, as expected, it's nothing that that's in the that Jagdeo or any one of his cronies have the power to block an interview. But on internet, it's an automatic something in terms of copyright infringement. And we have gotten a notice that there is a copyright infringement. And that's it. So it's not like they're working. Of course, Jack, they love that it's not being. But us Guyanese have more than one ways to get things done. They say more than one ways to skin a cat. I didn't really want to say that in front of the apostle, but Adam Harris, good evening to you, sir. Happy Father's Day.
Good evening. And thank you, the same to you too.
Thank you. Quickly, your take on this Vice News report on a high level of corruption and bribery allegations, mind you. And the main focus, the star in all of this is Bara Jagdeo. Your take, sir.
Well, it's interesting. Earlier this year, I saw the interviews that Miss Young did with Mr. Jagdeo. And there was the promise of the entire edited program being shown, and it was supposed to be shown on Showtime. I'm on Showtime and I'm not seeing it, but I spoke to someone in Canada, and there is a channel called Crazy or something, whatever, and it's being shown there. I don't know why it isn't on Showtime.
It is, Adam, it is on Showtime. I got it on Showtime. I'm actually on a different screen looking at it. But because of copyright infringement, right away on Facebook and YouTube, they pulled it. They pulled the plug right away. But it doesn't mean that other forums or platforms, they're not lucky to have it aired. Others are lucky. I am just not one of those lucky guys right now. right, as it pertains to this particular showtime. So, yeah,
Let me
copy.
ask you quickly before I answer you. Are you seeing it on Showtime right now?
Yes, I am. It's on Showtime right now.
But the Guyana, whatever we have on Guyana, is blocked by copyright infringement, you're saying?
No, if you subscribe to Showtime, you can see the entire show. But if you take that show and like what I did a few minutes ago and try to air it via this platform, then there's a copyright infringement.
Okay.
Right. Now, 1 second. It doesn't mean that others would not be lucky. Others might be lucky, but we're just not lucky this evening on 107.1 FM to hear that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
But what is your take,
I can
though?
tell you,
Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
I heard two of the government supporting those channels carried comments about Jagdeo failing, vice leaders failing to implicate Jagdeo, blah, blah, blah. But if that's the case, then why go to all this trouble to prevent its viewing in Guyana? I don't understand. Obviously, there must be some damaging comments. Obviously, there are things there that the government doesn't believe that the people of Guyana can see. But I can tell you that I am going to see it because I know it's going to be circulated on social media. And by then I'll be able to make an informed comment.
But Adam, you're a seasoned journalist. This report is damning. I don't know how much more you need to see, sir. Where do we go from here with this level of corruption, allegations of corruption, of bribery, and so forth? And I'm certain that you've heard already that, according to Stabrook News, that is, Jagdeo is going to evict Sue and also has threatened to have legal actions against Sue. Your take?
I saw that. I did see that today, and I remember his early reaction. When Ms. Young asked him about Sue, he said Sue couldn't say those things, that he didn't know all of this. It's bigger. I know that it's damning. The extent to which people have gone to ensure that the wider Guyanese society doesn't see it is interesting. Fact of the matter is that the wider society will see it. And for me to make an informed judgment, I would like to see all the things. Yes, there is corruption. Part of the clip suggests Jagdeo is saying that the darker you are, the more likely is the world to suggest that you're corrupt. Well,
he's very dark.
I'm very dark.
He is very dark.
Very dark. And nobody has accused me of corruption. I listened to a little piece when somebody sent it by social media, and there was a lot there. The fact that an undercover agent tried to talk to Jagdeo about money, and that was preceded by a statement. The man said, "Look, you give me the money, I can get it done," and all of that. Nobody in the right senses would implicate the vice president and say, "Look, if you give me, he can get he cut and I can get me on." That man would have to be an idiot, working and living in Guyana. The fact that Sue now is being targeted months after Ms. Young, she talked to him early February. So months after this accusation was made, Jagdeo is now going to target Sue. Nah. As there is a saying, something stinks to high heavens.
Stick a pin right there. Something stinks to high heaven. Good evening to all of you. 23 minutes after 8 o'clock. We have been interrupted by copyright infringement. And so the interview with Showtime Vice News exposing corruption in Guyana at the highest level, allegations of bribery and all manner of things. And Jagdeo is the superstar. He finally gets to star in his own sitcom. Adam Harris, we also have with us Apostle Nigel London. Mr. London, let's get your take on the suing of Sue, the pending suing of Sue, and the pending eviction of Sue. Your take, sir.
Thank you, and hello, Mr. Harris. I'm in no way surprised by Jagdeo's actions because he has to, by all means necessary, seek to repair and appear to be one who is concerned about his image. So more than likely, he said that Sue would have defamed him in some way, and so he needs to be given relief by the court. Now, what I find interesting is that this is not the first time that we heard anything about this Sue matter. This was circulating for months, and Jagdeo saw no need to deal with Sue in any way. I thought Sue would have been evicted next morning after he said, who Sue, with Sue. He didn't know who Sue was. And then suddenly discovered there was a Sue who lived actually in his property. Time passed, nothing happened, but as soon as this is about to be aired, Sue has to be evicted. Quite interesting.
Quite interesting indeed. And some folks who are close to Sue are concerned for his safety, and rightly so. And let's touch on something that Adam Harris spoke of just a few minutes ago, and something that we all heard, well, should by now. Jagdeo is saying that the darker you are, the more corrupt they will perceive the country to be. This is the first time that Jagdeo is admitting that he's very dark and that we're all in the same bracket of ethnicity, right? Outside of that, though, here is what he's trying to say, that ignore that corruption index report, that the only reason that they're doing it is because we are perceived to be dark people. So we are not corrupt, really and truly. Your take on that, Apostle, before we get back to Adam Harris.
There are times you ask me to do things or to jump into the mind of this man, and I'm scared to do so. To know that he can utter certain words given the years he would have spent in certain circles, and not recognize how destructive, damning, and dangerous they can be. Because once he posits that the darker you are, the more people are inclined to think that you are corrupt. Is he not also in that way highlighting why we all, well, I say he's racist? Has to be. But as you rightly said, in this case, he's posited as the darkest of all beings in Guyana at the moment, which is why he has to do so much work. It's been a while since I've seen Jagdeo do so much work to try to present himself as though he's an angel. Why work so hard if you're innocent?
I don't know.
I have a basic policy in life. If I'm innocent about anything, I don't waste my time hours and days and months trying to prove anything to it.
And he has been doing just that. Adam Harris, let's bring you right back in again. What do you think is going to come out of this, man? We've been hearing about allegations, and at the end of the day, we're back to square one. But specifically on this level of allegations, what do you think will come out of it with your years of experience as a journalist? And mind you, I say journalist as a real journalist. Go ahead, sir.
Mark, one of the things about this country is that we talk more and act less. I know that questions will be asked of Jagdeo. I know this. Young reporters would be afraid to confront him on this. And after a while in Guyana, 7-day wonder, it will die. You know, one of the things about being dark and corrupt, why doesn't the index consider Barbados corrupt in the same light as it does Guyana? Why doesn't it consider Jamaica corrupt in the same light as it does Guyana? Trinidad, and these are just Caribbean countries. We go further afield and we go to Africa. And we are trying to do deals with Ghana. The index doesn't say that Ghana is corrupt. Well, that it isn't as corrupt as Guyana. So I don't know this nonsense about the darker you are, the less corrupt you are. America is a multi-ethnic society, largely seen as white. Is America very corrupt, or only one section of America is corrupt? And I can go on and on and on. What will come out is that Jagdeo will be asked questions, and I hope that the international reporters will ask him these questions. Ms. Young has just opened the door to a lot of things. And we are seeing what we should have been seeing. She went undercover and found some things that we didn't know. I didn't know that a lot of those deals, although I expected it, I couldn't say that. A lot of the deals were done under the table, as she found out. And then you present them. An interesting part of the clip I saw was about the $1.5 billion China deal. Mark, it's interesting. I'm sorry that I will have to resort to social media to see whatever is broadcast and hope that I see the whole thing.
And we do hope that you see the whole thing. You need to see the whole thing, Adam. But even for many of us who've been on the block for a while, we don't necessarily need to see the whole thing to know how corrupt those guys are. Your take on anything else, Mr. London?
Well, I hope you don't mind my saying, but I see that it's also live on AGP TV. It's
That's
streamed live.
okay.
What have they done to you? I don't know. What have you done to them? So what's the difference between you and these people? It's amazing.
TV?
Yes, it's live. They stream it live. I'm not sure if it's on television. It's being streamed live.
And folks need to get the platform to watch it and so forth and so on. Yeah. So after we're done, once they can click, and we will be happy to share that as well. But I suspect that we will be targeted to have that erased as quickly as possible with copyright infringement. I guess that's our luck, because we are considered the bad boys in the eyes of the PPP, and so anything that we do or say, they are of the view that is highly likely to be influenced by thousands and thousands of people.
But if I may, as you would have asked, I strongly recommend that I hope I should say that the opposition and the wider society would be very, very, very quick, expeditious in reacting and maintaining the pressure that should be placed on Jagdeo and the PPP Civic in this regard, because if this, and I know it would be, the documentary proves what most people know already, then Jagdeo should have his feet to the fire to say he has to go. And once he goes, PPP will be finished anyway. And that's where he'll try his best. I would not be surprised, by the way, if persons are prevented from acting publicly by members of the Guyana Police Force and probably the military, just to ensure that Jagdeo remains in power. But that should not in any way dissuade us from ensuring that this man is brought to justice by all means. And I remind Guyanese that anyone who could be okay with someone having 19 fraud charges and they should sit in the seat of president, I have an issue with you from then.
A big issue indeed. Adam Harris, this should get somewhere. SOCU should step in. There should be an investigation, an official investigation launched. Are you optimistic that we will see such?
No. I'll tell you why. Remember the charges brought by those people for the elections? Quick to charge, very slow to prosecute. There was the little girl who was caught with drugs, trying to ship it somehow or other. All of a sudden, I heard about psychiatric evaluation. All the others never needed psychiatric evaluation. You talk about this woman, Shawnette Bullers, being spat on. No investigation. And I can go on and on and on. Investigation is if you're outside of the government and a perceived opponent of the government. If you are in the government or pro-government, there'll be no investigation. So don't tell me but SOCU go in and investigate Mr. Jagdeo. Don't tell me that the police can investigate. Mr. Norton has called on the police a lot of times to do investigation. Nothing. Mr. Harman called on them. Nothing. Nobody is going to be investigating Jagdeo for nothing.
Well, you see, that sort of attitude, Adam, in terms of because our leaders call for investigations and nothing has happened. If we were living in a society where thousands of people put boots on the ground to make things happen, now is the time to make things happen. This cannot be swept under the rug. Jagdeo should not be allowed to get away with these sorts of things, because if he gets away with this here now, God in heaven knows what more he thinks he would be able to get away with. Apostle?
Definitely so. Well, you're not alone. I saw that they blocked AGP TV, so it's no longer available on Facebook.
It's as expected. You know why? Because too many people on the y'all pointing to AGTV, yeah, right? They get switches all over. Let me show you guys how it operates. Once they report on a live, and there is a live feed of a program, not necessarily this live feed. The machines at Facebook and YouTube kicks in. The machine kicks in. So look what y'all make happen to what's it, channel 16. Look what y'all make happen. So Adam, you heard that, right? It's off of channel 16 as we speak. It's off.
All right. I understand and I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we are not surprised at all. But back to Apostle. Apostle, we can't allow this to be swept under the rug. We can't just expect our political leaders to just sit and call for an investigation, knowing very well that the police will not do anything. SOCU themselves need to be investigated. I heard millions upon millions of dollars being funneled into all manner of corrupt practices right there, allegations, mind you, right there at SOCU.
I would not expect that the political leaders of Ghana to be the ones who are leading the charge, in this case in reference to opposition or other people. My hope is that the wider society, the civil society and others would arise to say that this is too glaring. We have seen more than enough that we have to see, and at some point we're going to get to the streets of Ghana and ensure that we stand arms locked to say that we've had enough of this. Because if we rely on those who are bound by making statements, holding press conferences, and calling on the international community and so on to act, where do we go from here? And while I speak to the international community as well, I'd be happy to hear, if at all, Madam Sarah Ann Lynch has anything to say, because now this is officially been aired, it's ventilated globally. So what would she say now in reference to these damning reports? What can she say if we are seeing that, hey, there is a report and voices of the man himself, or bites of the man, sound bites. This man is talking for himself here. Nobody's putting words in Jagdeo's mouth, and he admitted to certain things. So what can she say now? I'd be happy to hear, but most importantly, this is the time for Guyanese to recognize what are the implications. Listen to the broadcast. The title is Guyana for Sale. If
and we have seen a lot of comments from the undercover report by Isabel. It was damning. People are talking about monies, how they have to pay. Look, let's get back. We're going to get back to this situation, but it's frightening what is happening in Guyana right now. And when a rat is up against a wall, that rat, whether it's a gutter rat, whether it's a bar rat, whatever rat, anything they will want to do. But let's take a pin from that interview for a moment. Adam Harris, I didn't get your take on what Robeson Ben is saying, that people who have a view that is different from those in the PPP will be. Well, he didn't say it in those exact words, but he's saying that opponents of the PPP will be placed on a watch list. Your take, sir?
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't hear him say that. And I don't think he's stupid enough to say that. I really don't think he's stupid enough to say that. You know,
well, if you don't think that he's stupid enough to say that, well, I'll say this to you, Adam Harris, with all due respect. Maybe you don't know him enough. But continue.
That might be true. You know, tonight on 60 Minutes, they featured Daniel Ortega. And he is behaving along the same lines that you're suggesting that Robeson Ben behave. Well, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but knowing Robeson Ben, knowing who he is, knowing his position within the PPP, I don't think he would go so far. Trust me. You might be in government today, you'll be a civilian tomorrow. But the reality is, whatever you say can come back to haunt you. And I don't think Rosenberg wants to be haunted.
Well, Rosenberg himself looks as though he's haunted. So if we're talking about the same Rosenberg, this is the Rosenberg who's basically going after critics of, and not that wishy-washy critics, I use that term, nothing affiliated with that bungle, so to speak. But Rosenberg's statement is dangerous. Dangerous because he's making allegations that individuals who are sitting outside of Guyana are calling for all manner of things to happen in Guyana. In fact, he hasn't shown the evidence. He didn't show anything, nothing whatsoever. And in a not so subtle way, he's saying that if you speak out against the regime, the PPP installed regime, then you will be placed on a watch list. Mr. Adam Harris, you have been a journalist for over 30 plus years, probably all your life, your adult life. Right? So help me, God, Adam Harris. How come you missed that silly statement, that mischievous statement, that wicked and vindictive statement from this man, Rosenberg?
Well, I don't know. Look, once that is said, trust me, I'll find it. The fact that you said he made the statement about overseas-based critics and all of that, that's interesting. Put you on a watch list. I mean, if you're going to be so damning about your critics, then that says a lot about your recognition of the right to freedom and all of that.
Adam, as a journalist, you don't miss a thing. I'm surprised that you missed this, but stick a pin. Let's get back to the apostle. I know that you missed it, Adam, because someone you were a good citizen, you were helping out somebody, and the person turned around and robbed you, stole your cell phone and everything. So I let this one slip because you may have been occupied trying to retrieve your cell phone from that culprit, right? Apostle, your take on what this guy Rosenberg has said, putting people on a watch list.
Well, I would have heard him, and he spoke to, or there was a precursor to it, or preamble when he spoke about those who say that Georgetown got to burn. And those kind of people should be on the watches and so on. I think that's when he said it. For me, one, I don't know if he has the authority. Well, I know actually, but I don't know when he thought he had the authority to be in Guyana. And in some cases, U.S. citizens are being put on a watch list by a Home Affairs Minister of Guyana. And I think he said also spoke to at various ports of entry, wherever you are, wherever you try to come into Guyana, they'll be there to essentially intercept such individuals. This man may be chosen to be the one to have the PPP Civic recognize that although the U.S. may appear to be accommodating you to some extent, if you begin to touch their citizens in this manner and behave as though they're not entitled to say what they should say freely, I think he has something coming that he doesn't want to deal with.
Absolutely. And they should be aware of that. That's something coming from a legal standpoint, because you do not threaten people in that manner. Adam Harris, let's hope that you didn't miss this one here. A minister, let's hope you haven't missed this one. Indar Deodat, have you heard of the report allegations that he sent police to Stabrook News?
He sent police to the what?
He sent police, according, mind you, there's an allegation, and I repeat, an allegation. He has since denied it. But the minister has sent query on minister's ties to company results in cops visiting Stabrook News. Indar accuses newspaper of having stolen documents. Yes, your take, sir.
I mean, humorous, very, very humorous. I can't imagine you accusing a newspaper of theft. You're telling me that if I have access to confidential document, I stole it? I think Minister Indar might have been imbibing something that would corrupt his brain. Again, I have to read the Stabrook News to see that. And he sent the police to Stabrook News. Again, that goes back to what I was saying.
But let me just, before you go back to what you were saying, let me say again that this is an allegation that's leveled against Indar. Indar has since responded, and Indar has refuted. In fact, he's saying no, he never did that. So I just want to get that point lucidly clear that it's an allegation and he has denied it. Continue, sir.
Right. Did Stabrook News say that the police visited them?
Well, the police visited. That's how they knew that the police was sent. Go ahead, Adam.
The police visited Stabrook News. Somebody sent them. What was the threat? What was the allegation?
Again, the allegation. 1 second, sir. Query on minister's ties to company. In other words, there's this allegation that the minister has ties to some company. He is part owner or whatever. Allegations, mind you. And because of a report that Stabrook News published, police was actually sent to Stabrook News to investigate where the newspaper got the stolen documents from. That's according to Stabrook News. Now, according to Indar, he's denying. He's saying that's not true. He never sent police to Stabrook News. Again, he has denied it. Go ahead, sir.
Stabrook News did not have documents implicating him and all of that. Well, Stabrook News would have to say, I am going to call Stabrook News tomorrow and get a story on that. Stabrook News will tell me if they ran a story on Minister Indar. They're going to tell me if police visited them. And if Minister Indar is saying he never sent the police, would the police on their own accuse Stabrook News of having stolen documents because they published a story about the minister? Come on.
Come on. Look, Adam Harris, you don't necessarily have to wait until tomorrow. You are a member of the Guyana Press Association. All you have to do is make one phone call to find out from the president of the Guyana Press Association. And that press association president, Ms. Nazima Ragobir, can inquire right away. Right away. So you don't necessarily have to wait until tomorrow to get the story rolling, Adam. Yeah.
I understand that, and I'm going to do that.
Thank you so much. Let's get to the Apostle. And Adam, if you can just give us another couple of minutes of your Father's Day time, we'll appreciate that. Apostle London, your take on this latest development of allegations that a minister sent police to Stabrook News to query about documents. Allegations, mind you.
Sure. And it's noted that there are allegations, and it's also noted that the minister has denied the same, as many others would have done. For example, Aubrey Norton is being trailed by 2 masked policemen. We have no clue as to who they are. And the Minister of Home Affairs says, well, we're not in the business of trailing anybody, but to date, we don't know who sent them. The top cop said, I don't know. He hadn't a clue about who are these men and who would have instructed them to trail Aubrey Norton, the leader, the official leader of the opposition. I am therefore quite unsurprised that Indar would say, I never sent anybody. He never did anything, and they just showed up. The police just sat one day in Evelyn, wherever they were, and said, let's go pay Stabrook News a visit if that's the case, and let's ask them about these documents. So, one, they visited on a whim. Secondly, they just knew exactly what documents to ask about, according to the report here. So these policemen may be prophetic. I have to invite them to church, probably, because it works wonders.
Absolutely wonders. Adam Harris, moving away back from this Indar story and allegations that he sent police there at Stabrook News, something that he has since denied. I just want to make that clear again, that Indar has denied the allegations as expected, as Apostle said, as expected. He has denied it. But this is nothing new under the PPP. And I'm speaking from experience, because a van load of police came to my office inquiring about documents, alleged stolen documents from Jagdeo's office, from the office of the president, alleged stolen documents. It happened before. Adam Harris, what else is bothering you, man? What else is bothering you?
Not a thing, bro. I'll tell you something. The situation in Guyana is very, very fluid. Many things are happening. John Public is confused because the living is killing. I wonder if some people are eating now. I'm paying more for gasoline than you're paying for in the States. Those are all issues that I need to address. and we are earning money from oil that we never had. Why should this happen? I don't know. And then we hear about all the corruption. And I wonder, how much money does a man need? How much can you eat? How much can you drink? I mean, come on.
I got your drift, Adam. I got your drift. But yet people like you, they deny pension too. I don't know what has happened to your pension case.
Why it's gonna stay there, and I'm going to live, and I'm going to do what I normally do, and I'm not going to worry about a thing.
Let me just show. Here's a piece of evidence about how the PPP operates. I know you're not seeing the screen right now, Adam, but I have on screen, and this was way back in when was it? 2011. Cops attempt to arrest Benchap over stolen OP information. Stolen OP information. So what is happening here now with Indar is nothing new, right? Under the PPP regime, if as a media entity something is published that they do not like, then they hoots, as we would say, they send the police after you. And a van load or maybe 2 van loads of police visited my office asking where I got all those documents from and the possibility that I stole those documents from the office of the president. Back in 2000, one second, I know you remember the Marcel Joseph situation.
Yes.
So they accused me because I published information that were factual. They accused me of stealing documents. Your take again, Adam, you were saying.
Well, my friend, they couldn't accuse you of stealing documents if you hadn't gone to obviously the president in the first instance. They could accuse you of being in possession of stolen documents. But then they would have had to see the documents. They would have to see it. Did they arrest you?
Attempt to arrest.
Man, Mark, look, there is oppression. There is victimization. Sometimes things go overboard. And as the Reverend said, nobody at the top knows when things are exposed. Nobody knew who instructed Aubrey Norton to be followed. He's right. And I'm sure if you would ask, they would tell you, the Commissioner of Police did not send those policemen to your house. So who is controlling the police? Who is controlling the movement of the police? I mean, I don't know. It's crazy.
We don't know at all. If we continue it, we don't know. There got to be action. But when we call for action, then your friend Robeson Ben steps in to say, put people on a watch list. Adam, you know me by now. I'm not afraid of any watch list. We know that the PPP is notorious in putting people on watch list, putting people on death list, death squad list, drug lord list, phantom squad list, all these manner of things. You remember the notorious minister, now late Ronald Gadraj, and his connection to death squads, killing squads, and all these different things. You know of these things. You know of his visas being revoked. You know of then acting commissioner of police Floyd McDonald and his links, alleged links, and his visa being revoked. You know of the late your friend commissioner of police that died in that accident. You know him. Henry Green, his visas being revoked, and all manner of things. Corruption is rampant in Guyana, and it is back again, Adam Harris. But let's get to Mr. London concerning, I just showed the evidence that back in 2011, this is what the cops did. And we're hearing it now again in 2022, that the cops have visited Starbuck News. Nothing new under the PPP. Apostle?
Same old playbook. They are yet to arrive at something new and something that is considered to be genuinely novel when it comes to how they treat with people who are apparently speaking against them. they have mastered projection for the greater part, in that they normally say, oh, Granger's dictator, for example. Granger's a dictator. And now you're seeing their behavior as being entirely dictatorial. They want to control what people say, what people hear, what people would see, and everything else, because that is the essence of how a dictatorship really blossoms. So these people know exactly what they are, and they'll continue to demonstrate what they are. They have not changed. And I say this without reservation. The PPP, I've said it before on many platforms, the PPP would be yet to change. They're yet to change their modus operandi. They're yet to change their very nature. If you ask me, they've gotten worse, because now they have got support in their minds of many in 2020 and so on, the international community. And they may feel as though they have the ability now to do a bit more than they would have done. The only thing that is restraining them from being as ruthless as they were is social media, would be the smartphones and these things, because they don't know when the eyes are upon them. And so they're very strategic now as to how they function. But at the end of the day, in some instances, they just can't help themselves. So they have to come forward, trail people, send officers to do so many things to people, and then say, we don't know. We're not a part of it. We have no clue.
It wasn't me. We don't know. That's usually their excuse. Adam Harris, I don't know, again, at your age, at some point in time, during the course of your lifetime, you expected some sort of improvement in Guyana for the betterment of all Guyanese. We now have oil, billions of dollars of oil. And then even when we are about to withdraw our oil money, ExxonMobil is saying, no. You could only get half because you owe us for X, Y, and Z. Is that optimism diminishing daily?
My optimism, is not as high as it used to be. What I can tell you, however, is that I'm disappointed in what's happening. I mean, I have people talking about ethnic discrimination and providing the evidence. I have people saying things like, hey, I'm not going to talk. I'm frightened for talk. You know, all of that, a lot of that is happening.
Adam, not to cut you, including journalists who are afraid to ask the correct questions, including members of parliament who themselves are afraid to speak out. So continue.
Yes. And I mean, once that happens, you know, I used to hear about police state and all of that. I suppose I'm about to live in one of them. I mean, markets, it's worrying.
Wait.
The press generally is responsible for holding the government accountable. I don't think we have a press in Guyana. For one, all the media, the public media outlets are controlled by the government. That being the case, people have to resort to social media. The good thing is that everybody has a cell phone, has access to something. But when the individual sees it, what does he do? He stays quiet. It will take a group of people to recognize the need to, first of all, speak up. I know that Jagdeo will have a press conference this coming week based on what is aired. I know that.
He may have a press conference tonight or early tomorrow morning. And guess who is going to probably be interviewing him as well? You know who. We don't call his name. Yeah, we don't call his name because we might got to help him out for a particular operation that he may have to get. But go ahead.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But let's get back. Let's get to the point where Guyana is where it is. You said that it's a police state again. Oh, by like what we could do. Do you expect to just sit down in a police state and do nothing, Mr. Harris?
No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
It's already happening. It's already happening.
It's not that people are sitting down, you know. We're talking. But to hear what the people say, you have to get photographs, media houses that seem to be prepared to carry the position of the opposition, and a lot of it on social media. That's going to happen. I know, for example, tomorrow there will be talk shows featuring this program, and there will be clips for those of us who haven't seen it. And,
lots of that, clips and talk and talk and talk and talk. People need more than just talking and talking and talking. Apostle London, you are itching and itching because we're not getting the right reaction to these sort of corruption in high level and oppression and all these manner of things. It's happening because if they can do something like that to the leader of the opposition, have him traced by police or so-called police, and nobody knows. The acting top cop doesn't know. Robeson Ben doesn't know. No one knows. What sort of state are we living in? Apostle London.
Thank you. And we are certainly living in a state in which it's obvious that the administration would have sought to, in many ways, have their tentacles reach so many aspects or areas of our society.
Please, when you speak of tentacles, let us have a disclaimer that you're not mentioning that particular individual, but continue.
No, the tentacles reach, and they're trying to have a grasp on and a hold of so many various aspects of our society. And it's only by the reaction of people, the response, the wide and a collective response, even in journalism, as you just mentioned to Mr. Harris. I have been seeking to have interviews with quite a few journalists as to speak to what role do you genuinely play in the fight for the liberation of Guyana, indeed. Because as you see with Vice News, this young lady is a journalist, and look at how destructive her interview is to Jagdeo's image. What is the fear? What's the trepidation that I'm seeing even in journalism, where persons are so cautious about getting on the wrong side of some people, and then persons will say to me every so often, "Be careful, watch your back." There's things that people can do to you, and I normally respond by saying, "So what? If I have to die for standing as a man, at least the record will show that I stood as a man. I never said I'm afraid of being victimized. By whom? And more than that, I would say without reservation here that Jagdeo, in my view, is one of the weakest minds I know. Honestly speaking, he is incapable of standing as a man to another man to do anything. So what's there to be afraid of? A woman broke him. A little lady has brought him down to nothing. I've never seen him rush old press conferences so fast yet. Look at this lady compared to Jagdeo. Such a gentle, soft little soul on the left. And look at it. And he had to hold a press conference. He was so troubled by the things she did. So I'm saying that even the journalists, investigative journalism is critical to Guyana's existence and survival. How do we get out of this? Maybe the journalists are afraid to act. They can show, they can report, they can say that, okay, this person is, or these people are standing for this, and we're just going to run a report on the matter. I was told before you go further that even regarding me, journalists were told, back off from this guy. I don't want you to go too close to London and to say too many things because, be careful. And they came to tell me that. So I'm saying you're a man. You're in the field of journalism and you're being instructed to back off from me. Don't report on the things that I do. How does that benefit you? How do you feel as a person when you're being muzzled in your own field?
Sometimes it's not only the political opponents are attempting to muzzle you. Sometimes those of whom you fight for as well, who try to muzzle you. That's a shame. That's a disgrace. Mr. Adam Harris, as we look at the time and we wind down now, we are seeing that for obvious reasons, those in the diplomatic circles are very quiet about these things. They're quiet about police oppression, extrajudicial killings. They're quiet about racial discrimination and all manner of things. Now, they may very well be quiet about this level of allegations against Jagdeo. Why are they so quiet, Mr. Harris?
Mark, you're breaking up.
Why is it that the diplomatic corps, those folks who have been very, very vocal during and after the 2020 elections are so quiet now about all these wrongdoings in Guyana?
I don't know. I can't speak for them. Some of them have been talking.
Who has been talking?
And
Which one has been talking?
some of
Who?
them.
Who?
Well, you had Jeffries out there been talking.
No. I'm talking about I'm
are-
talking about diplomats in Guyana, sir, not politicians outside.
Well, I mean, first we'll have to approach them with questions pertaining to the issues affecting us.
One second. When they were issuing their statements about X, Y, and Z during and after elections and all manner of things, they were not approached for a comment. They issued joint statements, sir. But continue.
I agree. Well, this time we'll have to approach them and get a comment.
Are you going to approach? Are you going to approach? Are you going to approach them?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be watching out for your report. I'll be watching out to hear that you called Sarah, you called the UK High Commissioner, you called the Canadian High Commissioner, and the EU. They oftentimes get together to issue statements. But for months, they have been quiet about a lot of things. Corruption, oppression, and all these things, racial discrimination under the installed PPP regime, a regime that they are comfortable with in office.
Mark, the British High Commissioner has been busy promoting homosexuality.
All right. At least she's promoting something, right? Maybe she likes what she's promoting. But at the end of the day, you got to approach these people. You're a senior journalist. If the junior journalists or those who are disguised as journalists, rushing, behaving as though they got more balls than Baigan, some of them do, you have to take the lead. You are a seasoned journalist, Adam.
I hear you.
Ask these diplomats questions.
Almost semi-retired.
Mr. London, Mr. London, what is going through your mind here, man? What is going through your mind, sir?
I was eagerly anticipating Mr. Harris naming a few at least one in the diplomatic corps in Guyana who would have mentioned anything in recent past regarding what's happening in our country. Even the shooting of the young man in Melanie, Quinton, I think his name is.
Quinton Backus. Quinton Backus. Yeah.
I am yet to hear Sarah Anlin speak of concern, but she could say that, or through her, don't go around Starbuck Market. These little boys will rob you. And police force ran like chickens without heads to appease her. But when people are shot, or in Boston, I'm waiting to hear a statement or read one from her to say that she's concerned. When Irfan Ali could have unconstitutionally said that he is appointing members of the Integrity Commission and the Police Service Commission without consulting with the leader of the opposition, I'm still waiting to see some degree of a document being written, and more, just an iota to say this is how we feel about this matter. When Jagdeo said, for example, that Rudolph Small in Linden is a wild card kind of guy, but he could be running and be in charge of our health care in this community, and he's still here. These people are not saying anything about these matters. Nothing. Which tells me then that they have no intention to speak about it.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. And further to that, when Jagdeo can say that we owe Exxon, our Guyanese don't owe Exxon anything. Okay,
I don't know. I can feel your frustration, Apostle. I can feel your frustration. Adam, quickly before we go, I know it's Father's Day night. Your closing remarks to the thousands of people who are watching this show and listening via 107.1 FM. Your closing remarks, sir.
Mine?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, Adam, your closing remarks. Your closing.
What I have, Mark. Yeah, whatever comes out of this interview should be the subject of discussion for a very, very long time. questions are going to be asked. I know there are reporters who are going to ask questions. Already I know Gowan Media have come out and put out a thing. And so they had advanced viewing. I am sure Stabrook News is going to press tonight, and there'll be a story on it because they try to be as brave as ever. And on the social media, there are those of us.
Well, we gotta, Adam. Adam. 1 second. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry about that. But we gotta give kudos to Village Voice. Village Voice has taken the lead on this story here. They have started their online. So those of you who are watching, please go to Village Voice News. You'll see lots of stories on this latest development with Sue and Jagdeo and so forth in the Village Voice. I am not just going to sit down and wait for Stabrook News to package things for me, because they're not going to package it how we want it to be packaged, but it's being packaged properly on the Village Voice. But you continue, sir. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, so there you are. It's already out, and more will come out, and a lot of us will try to ask questions. Some of us will not be invited to press conferences. Whatever it is, we will say and we will have our say.
I got you. Whatever it is, I'm going to hold you to that. I'll be watching. Whatever it is, I'll be listening out to see whether you call Stabrook News, get that story going as to whether the police actually visited the Stabrook News office there on Robb Street, right? I'll be looking out also, along with Apostle London, because he and I will be communicating to see if Adam did any story with the diplomats to ask them about this, these developments in Guyana. Lots of things happening. We want to hear from the diplomats as well. They're way too quiet. Sarah, good evening to you. The Honorable U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, way too quiet. We're beginning to wonder why. Why are these people so quiet, Adam? Why are they so quiet? Oh my gosh. You guys are the journalists there. You got to keep them on their heels. Adam, 1 second. 1 second. Mr. Harris, 1 second. You seem to have a lot of questions when you're at the a press conference to the leader of the opposition. You're the only one who asked about 10 or 15 questions. Are you just limited to just that?
Yeah, but I'm not invited. I'm not invited to the others.
You know that you don't have to be invited to pick up the phone or send an email asking questions. They've got to respond. And if they don't respond, 1 second before you tell me something. If they don't respond, then say that they refuse to comment. Story done.
All right.
Tell me something now. Go ahead.
I wrote a letter to the DPP. A man spent 6 years in jail. Murder, and the police report no evidence. And there were 3 stages of the court. There was the preliminary inquiry, then they had the high court, and all that. No evidence. And I asked the DPP, how could that happen? All I got was, your letter has been received. It has been almost, what, a year? And I haven't got a comment.
Did you follow up? Did 1 second? Did you follow up? You know you have your friend there as the PRO, Liz. Liz is still there as PRO, right?
Yes.
So follow up with Liz. Go into her office. I was there on the ground. I didn't take no. 1 second, Adam. 1 second. 1 second. I didn't take no for an answer. Walk into Liz's office.
Nobody has to answer you.
Walk into Liz's office. Adam, you're getting soft.
Nobody has.
Adam, you're getting soft.
It's all right, Mark.
It's all right to get soft? Happy Father's Day to you, Adam. Happy Father's Day, my friend. And remember, years I've promised to take you out. Years I have promised to take you out to dinner. I hope you got your phone back, and thank you for that good deed you did for that guy, albeit he stole your stuff.
It's all right, no problem.
It's all right, bro. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Harris. Thank you, sir.
All right, good.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. We'll take a quick break because I need to get your closing remarks, Honorable Nigel London. I need to get your closing remarks. Good evening to all you beautiful people who are tuned in this evening. It's been an interesting night, right?
Very.
Francine and all the other Rox, Mackenzie, everybody. Good evening to all of you guys. Good evening to all of you guys, man. Let us I don't know, some folks see me on air and they're still calling. Let us take you guys to Mr. Sue now. People are concerned, and this is one particular gentleman that is concerned about the safety of Mr. Sue. He said it to me on one occasion, and he did say it again recently. We'll be right back.
Mr. Mark, I believe every word of what Mr. Shu is saying. I am also afraid of Mr. Shu. Mr. Shu, if you are listening, I don't want anybody to harm you. This is a serious thing. Corruption is big. And we Chinese have to stop that. Been bullied by Jagdeo and other government official to pay bribe. It's big all over Guyana. A Chinese to pay by bribe. Mr. Shu, I hope you to stay strong. Do not. We respect and salute you for your bravery, for coming up and speak against corruption in Guyana. Thank you, Mr. Shu. We appreciate you, Mr. Mark. 马克，我相信每一句苏先生说的话。我现在很担心苏先生。苏先生，如果你在听我说话，我不想任何人威胁你。圭亚那政府腐败很严重，这个是很严重的事情。我们中国人必须停止被那些政府用武力行贿。苏先生，我希望你能继续你的发表，也希望你在新的一年万事如意。
All right, people are afraid. Should Sue really be afraid for his life right now? According to Stabrook News, he has been asked to vacate the premises that he's renting from Barra Jagdeo for a tune, what is it, of $1.2 million. That's according to Mr. Sue. What is, I don't know, should he be afraid?
You asking?
Yes, Mr. London.
Oh,
Go ahead, sir.
thank you. He should be afraid, and I don't, or I hope the viewers are not running away with the idea based on the Vice News report that this man is an angel. Because as far as I'm aware, based on what I would have heard, he acted as the person, Jagdeo, I think, would have said you go to him, contact Sue, and Sue deals with matters beyond the government, and then it gets back to Jagdeo. So Sue would have been instrumental in receiving, as far as I'm aware, based on reports, benefits. I think he got 40,000 acres of land somewhere as well, so he's not an angel. And if he has cause to be afraid, he should be afraid because of who he's associated with. In the world in which he may have found himself, you should not have your hands dirty and thinking that your life would be one that is lived in peace and tranquility. So he should be cautious about his movement, because now he has apparently been used as an arm to get to Jagdeo and to expose much about what Jagdeo is all about. So we would expect him to be on the run and to be out of the limelight. However, as long as Sue is free to move, especially if he's out of Guyana, and they want to harass Sue, Sue would be freer to disclose quite a bit. Because I know how these fellows process sometimes. As long as he thinks he's safe and they want to get at him, then he would seek to destroy Jagdeo even more.
Still trying to get Mr. Sue. I'm calling him. Sorry about that, Mr. London. Calling Mr. Sue. But I'm almost certain that there's nothing that Jagdeo could do to Sue. Sue, from my understanding, is an agent of the Communist Chinese Communist Party.
Makes it worse.
And remember when the Vice News report came out and they focused on Sue, the Chinese ambassador issued a statement to the effect that the Chinese businessmen should not be targeted. If Jagdeo goes down the road of targeting Sue, then the Chinese government will get involved. And mind you, I'm using the word allegation. There's an allegation, mind you, that Jagdeo has a bank account in China. A bank account in China. I don't know how true that is, but if Jagdeo messes with the Chinese, if Jagdeo messes with Sue, who is a top agent of the Chinese, alleged to be a top agent of the Chinese Communist Party, then Jagdeo wouldn't want to go that route at all. Sorry for that interruption. Just thought that I let you guys know how important Sue is to the Chinese government.
Well, that sheds, if that were the case, it sheds a light and even brings into greater perspective, because I promise you, and I promise all those who are viewing, if Sue is indeed an agent of theirs, Jagdeo knows 10 times better than to do anything to him, including dragging him before any court. Because all he needs to do, or Jagdeo knows will happen, is that he'll receive maybe a phone call or visit, and he has to stop. Because Chinese don't play the games they play, and he knows that. He knows as long as they have anything on him, based on what the reports are, he doesn't want to play around with them, because they fear no one. And they know who has put him where he is. Jagdeo knows that. So he could try it. He would leave Sue alone. If Sue's an agent, as you said, that's fine. Because it could have been that they intend to destroy Jagdeo's character for them to receive what they wanted to receive.
They just got caught with their pants down, so to speak. Isabel and her partner, her working partner, got in there, went undercover, and we saw it all, bare naked, for the world to see. The level of corruption at every level of government, every single office there. But what is of importance, though, is the highest level. The allegations of Jagdeo being as corrupt as some of us have perceived him to be. Mind you, allegations, again, I'm using the word allegations, right? Until proven. Well, can we sit and depend on SOCU and the police force in Guyana to do this level of investigations with the evidence that they may have? No, they're not going to do that. They're afraid. They're pussycats. They can't do it. So then who should be doing the investigations? I have seen people comments about FBI and all these manner of things. The FBI cannot leave the United States of America to go and investigate something in another country unless it relates to the, for example, in the US, there's the Justice Department. And so if there is evidence that Jagdeo received bribes from corrupt, if there is evidence that he received bribes from corrupt American business people, then that is a level cause for concern for Jagdeo. And Jagdeo could very well be in some serious trouble, because I'm hearing about the American Chamber of Commerce with some ANCHA and all these. Some of them are questionable businessmen. Questionable businessmen. This should not be allowed to fizzle away after a couple of days. That is why the leader of the opposition and those in the opposition, they need to put boots on the ground on this issue. Roysdale Ford has taken the first bite of this interview. Kudos to Roysdale. Go into the Village Voice and you guys will be able to read Roysdale Ford's position on the issue. Apostle London, I've been speaking a lot. You need to speak during your closing remarks. Take as long as you can without my interruption, sir.
I appreciate your speaking, and what you have to say really brings quite a bit of light on this matter. Let me hasten to remind Guyanese, though we haven't said much about that this evening, that we can expect Mr. Irfan Ali, I don't call him doctor, he's Mr. Irfan Ali for me, to, of course, arrive maybe in the morning or before and issue what he may think is a defensive statement or want to protect or repair the damage already done to Jagdeo's image based on this report and the documentary. I would like to, if I can, advise him to be cautious about what he says, because obviously it requires much thinking on his part. And he tried it before, and he said that the young lady, Isabella, doesn't even know where Amalia Falls is. And that in itself is certainly a misstep on the part of the president of any country, or one who sits in that seat. How can a president say because you do not know where the Amalia Falls is, it means that you do not know about the situation regarding Amalia Falls? It's unfortunate that someone of Irfan Ali's caliber will seek to, more than likely, defend one of Jagdeo's caliber. So that's interesting. However, I would like to reiterate a call for the good governance of Guyana, which in this case would include, based on that report, demands for, not petitions for, demands for investigations to be had, and for protests to be continuing until there is the appeasing of the Guyanese population, that we do not have, as you would say, a cat watching milk in our country. There is, finally, I should say, cause for us to arise with a loud voice to say that if we are receiving, and Exxon can be boasting about making so much profit here in Guyana, then why can our government not stand up for us to say, and I'm talking government in terms of the opposition as well, including them, that we deserve to have some degree of relief as relates to the cost of living, including fuel prices. Don't tell me that they can subsidize Gaisuku and these places and give so much money into these entities that are failing, but you cannot seek to bring relief to us as Guyanese. We need to have the cause to stand and fight for our well-being, and for us as a people, our future and that of our children. We must do so. And I believe that at some point we'll stand.
Apostle London, well said. I agree with almost, well, everything, not almost, every single thing. Let me let our listeners know, though, that we have currently on the line with us, who has taken time out from his schedule. He's visiting North America, the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Aubrey Norton, with us. Good evening, sir, and happy Father's Day.
Good evening and happy Father's Day to you, and all the respect to your youth public and the women who perform functions of a father.
Thank you so much. Quickly, Mr. Norton, from your schedule, your take on this revelation coming out from the Vice News report. Obviously nothing new, but your take, especially Jagdeo's response, according to Stabrook News, that he's going to sue, and that Sue may very well be evicted from his office, from his home. Sorry.
It's an obsession with Sue, because Sue revealing is reality. Remember, one has to understand what happened there. It's just a revelation of what Guyanese knew all the time. It's just evidence to confirm that it's a corrupt regime headed by Barry Jagdeo. That's the first point that needs to be made. The second point that needs to be made is that it's a while since we had called for an investigation by the Guyana Police Force into this allegation of corruption. Now that we have the voice of Sue saying what he said, I believe there is enough information there for them to have an investigation. But I also believe it is critical that the vice president should be made to resign. You cannot have such serious allegations against you in a democratic society and not resign. And I believe President Irfan Ali should ask him to resign or fire him, because failure to do that will make it appear as he's complicit in the crime. And so he should really be acting in the interest of the people of Guyana. We have got to recognize that when you have those high level of corruption, that is the reason why resources don't go to our people, because so much money has to be paid for bribes, etc., that should really go to the development of our people. And so we think it's a good place to start to deal with the high level of crime and corruption in the People's Progressive Party. And so we will take our own actions to ensure some amount of investigation is done. But we are convinced that this revelation puts in the open, with evidence, the fact that the People's Progressive Party is a corrupt political party.
All right. Words there from the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, and this is not going to be swept under the rug. I suppose that you're being the leader of the opposition will instigate or get onto the police to do their investigations instead of sit to expect them to investigate. They're not going to do that. Are you optimistic that they're going to do it?
I am optimistic that we can bring public pressure to bear to force them in that direction. But the government is going to do everything to ensure that that doesn't happen. Us to work towards this kind of investigation. We also will have to inform the international community formally about the revelation. We know they know, but we must put it on record because it has implications at a wider level. And they have to be, most governments don't want to support a government that is not accountable, not transparent, and corrupt. And so it also has an international dimension.
Exactly. I know I've said just a couple of minutes. What's the status with the police that we can assume that there are two policemen who were trailing you as you entered into the village of Golden Grove and other areas?
Well, look, I didn't expect the police to do anything. I know full well that what Hicken is saying is not true. The police gave the instructions for them to follow me. In the first place, it was the vehicle. The people in the vehicle, when I asked them why they're violating my right, they just stopped and went their way. The two young men on the motorcycle to continue to follow me. And as you heard when I asked them, they said that they were given instructions. And not only do I believe that we are being placed under surveillance by the Guyana police force, I've long said there's a police state emerging in Guyana, and a lot of people's freedom, their freedom is under threat. And so the police behavior is a reflection of the political leadership. When you are a corrupt political outfit, you have to resort to force to stay in power and achieve your objective. And what the police is doing is a mere manifestation of the kind of state we live in, a state that is autocratic, undemocratic, and has to have surveillance over its people because the state knows it is doing wrong. That is the bottom line here.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Norton, but I can't let you go unless I ask you about what's going on with this so-called commission of inquiry that Irfan Ali has promised to name the participants, so those who will be partaking in the commission of inquiry on Tuesday. GCOM has decided against a review of the 2020 elections. There seemed to be no haste, no interest in the elections petitions at all. But yet, Irfan is so concerned now about a commission of inquiry. Your take before you go, sir.
Well, first of all, you have to look at the chronology of events. In the first place, they said they would have had it. When they got petition 99 and they recognized that the evidence is there, that they were involved in electoral fraud, they then changed their mind. Now, I believe as the new Sugate was coming tonight, they wanted to put in something to deflect people from the corruption that is alleged against Jagdeo. And so they talk about this. Why? Now, the government has no right to be involved in a COI in this matter because, first of all, they are going to choose the people that they will put in that investigation. That will amount to charging Caesar to be tried by Caesar because a party to this crime, the chief party in this crime is the PPP. They are accused of electoral fraud. How do you investigate yourself? It's like charging Caesar to be tried by Caesar. Caesar will find himself not guilty. So I think it's a facade. It's an attempt to take away from petition 99, which they know will succeed, and they will be forced towards early election. And the second purpose of it is to deviate attention away from the Jagdeo Susu story and focus people in the other direction. Guyanese will stay focused and know that the COI is a joke. If there's going to be an investigation into the election, the first thing that should happen is the Election Commission with both parties represented should be looking into it, but then they said they are not going to look into it. To me, it's a whole facade. There's no interest in knowing the truth because the truth will put the PPP in trouble.
Absolutely. Just like they have their goons trailing you and asking you about SOPs. Why should they be concerned about your SOP, your party's SOPs, when the elections petitions are there? Let the elections petitions be called and let all the SOPs. Look, Mr. Norton, let them stop bothering you about SOPs. Let them open those SOPs in the courtroom. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your Father's Day night, sir. And we're looking forward to have a good sit-down chat here with you on 107.1 FM.
Anytime I've said you once, we got adequate time, I'll be with you. No problem at all, man. Enjoy the evening and enjoy the rest of Father's evening, if it can be so called.
Thank you, so appreciate it. Yeah. Leader of the opposition there, Aubrey Compton Norton. Mr. London, I'll give you another minute and a half without any interruption at all. Something else might be bothering you in this closing remarks. Go right ahead, sir. Oh, sorry about that. I had your mic. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you. I'm amused to know that Mr. Norton is suggesting that Ali fires Jagdeo. I found it to be quite funny. I need to know who in the PPP civic could risk firing Jagdeo if he's the one who runs it. So that'd be an interesting take to see.
Remember, let me give you a quick little history there. Many years ago, Jagdeo banned Stabrook News from getting any government ads, none whatsoever. Stabrook News got banned. Gord Mosley got banned. Kaicher News got banned. Some other folks were arrested and charged with treason. One spent 5 years in solitary confinement. We all know that individual. All manner of things, but I'm talking about specifically the banning of state ads to newspapers. When Jagdeo made that revelation that he's banning these papers from getting any government ads, Janet Jagan stepped in and said that it is wrong. Jagdeo, who got into the presidency, the seat of the presidency as a result of Janet and the jiggery-pokery of the Constitution, said publicly, in other words, to hell with Janet Jagan. She is just a private citizen. No, karma is a B-E-A-C-H. Karma. Now, will Irfan Ali exact that same sort of medicine to Bara Jagdeo, that he is not the president of the country and he should keep his mouth shut? Will Irfan do that? Does he have enough BALLS to do it?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't have that chutzpah. No, he wouldn't try that. Although I can see hints of it when he said, okay, then when Jagdeo said a commission inquiry would be a waste of time, now Irfan said, no, we'll have a commission inquiry. So at least he's showing that he's trying to. Then he said, I'm not a president who wants to gaffe, I'm a president of action. And then he said, you want gaffe, call critic. So he's taking shots and jabs at Jagdeo here and there. However, he knows he has to be cautious because they are all apparently afraid to deal with this man the way he should be dealt with, because he is a liability to the PPP. I remember I spoke with you about this a long time ago, that Jagdeo, for as long as he's there, Irfan cannot have a genuine legacy. And there's already so many clouds over Irfan's head. But to add Jagdeo to it, when Irfan is out of Guyana, Jagdeo is parading around as his president. It would affect Irfan's image and legacy. So he needs to do what Jagdeo may have done to Guyana, but I don't think he has the guts to try that. So yes, I found Mr. Norton.
We know he has the guts, but is he going to try that?
He's losing it though. He doesn't have as much as he needed to. But I found Mr. Norton's comment on that to be very interesting and amusing, to say the least. I do expect though that there would be, at least at the beginning, quite a bit said about this scenario, and then it may peter out. I hope it doesn't. But we have to have consistency, brutal, hardcore aggression in reference to the things we say and how we stand against this element called Bara Jagdeo, who has now stained the image of our society. And if that report is as destructive to his image as it already is proving to be, he doesn't need to be here. We do not need to have any special request made for anybody to do something nice to get him out of there. The people have to help ensure Jagdeo goes, because it's our responsibility to ensure that we have what is necessary for us to be governed in a manner that's proper. Let's not forget that Irfan Ali is the one who would have appointed members of the Integrity Commission. He appointed them without Norton's consent, without Norton being consulted. So who is going to investigate Jagdeo if Irfan Ali appointed everybody? And finally, I must say this, that I don't want to hear anything but a commission of inquiry from Irfan Ali. If he has interest in proof what happened in the election, then withdraw the appeal before the CCJ. Don't include us a commission of inquiry. Withdraw the appeal. We already have a process in place to prove. Withdraw it. Tell Anil back off. Withdraw it. Let's hear it in the court. I would not be fooled by Irfan shenanigans.
And they're not going to withdraw it. It is indeed a facade. This whole notion of elections, was it COI? It's going to cost Guyanese taxpayers almost $200 million. Look at who the participants are going to be. For example, the commission that they just sworn those folks in.
Integrity, police service.
Yeah. Look at all those things headed by the widow of Ronald Gadraj. The widow of Ronald Gadraj. Look at who is heading these things. The Commissioner of Information was complaining that his office is being underutilized. The Commissioner of Information happens to be Charles Ramson Sr. He's getting in excess of $1 million per month. Plus, they have to pay for security and all manner of things. And I'm not sure if taxpayers are paying for his house that he's using as an office. He is complaining that he's being underutilized. His office. His office is not only being underutilized, his office is a waste of time. His office is a waste of taxpayers' monies. I don't know, Mr. London. I don't know, man. But we've got to be back soon. I appreciate you taking 10 minutes. I asked you for 10 minutes.
You did.
I know your family's going to get at me for that, but give them my regards, please, sir.
That's
and thank you as always. I appreciate your time.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Yeah. All right, good. So it's been, what is it? I thought it would have been just about a half hour, maybe an hour or so. We've been on for a while, over 1 hour, 32 minutes, plus the other times that we were cut off because of copyright infringements, right? With the airing of the Vice News report. All right, I'm looking at some of your comments. I'm so happy that you have taken time out to have us in your homes this evening, even though it's Father's Day. I'm almost certain that had it been Mother's Day, we would not have such a large viewership, because the mothers would have been angry that the fathers were watching, and then we would have been hearing, got to take who out to dinner, who out here and there. But it's Father's Day, Father's Night, right? Yeah. Interesting. Anyways, we'll see where this goes. Something has got to happen. The opposition can't just sit on it. They just can't. Something has got to come out of this. Too much allegations of corruption being swept under the rug. And hopefully this one will not be swept under the rug. It should not be swept under the rug. That is why they need a proper approach in getting things done. Not just issuing statements and say writing here or writing there. That's not going to do the trick. These agencies in the United States of America don't want organizations to just be writing and writing and writing. They want to see, and look, I'm telling you guys from experience, they want to see action on the ground. If they don't see action on the ground, those of us who are outside of Guyana, we can write and issue press release and issue this and issue that, and we write here. It's not going to work. It's not going to move anything. It's not going to move anyone. You know what's going to move people? Boots on the ground. All the time that we take to write and to call, I'm not saying that that is not worth anything. It is worth something, little things. But the big picture is boots on the ground. I saw the leader of the opposition. They were at a function in Brooklyn, largely attended. Nice. I saw the leader in his suit, nicely decked out. You know what I said to some folks? I want to see when protest actions are called in the US, whether it's in Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, in Washington, wherever, I want to see a heck of a lot of people like those folks who attended the black tie affair to be out there protesting as well, because now is the time to do it. Now is the time to protest in front of the US State Department, to protest somewhere so that they can get recognition. Writing a letter here and there doesn't suffice, doesn't help at all. Protest action in the US, and hey, listen me out on this. Protest action, boots on the ground in Guyana. If there's no boots on the ground now concerning this level of allegations of corruption and bribery against Barra Jagdeo and other officials, then don't expect anything else to come out of anything else, because the PPP will continue to think that they own Guyana and that Guyana is up for sale for whatever price Jagdeo labels it. Whatever price he stamps on it, then it is up for sale. If we don't put a stop to that, then lots of people will continue to complain. Lots of people will continue to be discriminated against. Do you know how many folks are getting their lands taken away under questionable circumstances, under illegal circumstances? They're getting their lands taken away from them. Some of them are up on the east, the Linden Soosdijk Highway and other places. And persons of a particular ethnic group, when they were given lands in terms of lands that they've applied for years now, they finally got a piece of land. You hear the people who gave them the land, they're being charged and all manner of things. You tell me that that is not discrimination? Well, something is definitely wrong with some of you who don't see it as discrimination. At least this guy sees it as discrimination. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, he sees it as discrimination. He sees it as racism. I hope you guys see it too. I don't know. That's it for me this evening. I don't know what else is planned for me this evening, but I'm going to get out of here. And I'm getting out of here feeling optimistic still. I'm an optimist that something will come out of this report. Something ought to come out of this report. We're banking on the leader of the opposition to take the lead. We're banking on the people to take the lead. All of the members of parliament to take the lead. The AFC leaders, Mr. Ramjatan and others, say something. Let us see what they're going to say by tomorrow. Let us see who's going to call press conferences. Let us hear what more Jagdeo is going to say. Let us hear what Irfan Ali is going to say. Because in the coming hours, they have a heck of a lot to say. And they will have their media, their propagandists, they will have them out there in full swing. I'm saying to those who believe in truth and justice. I'm saying to those who believe in democracy, who believe in fair play. And those of you who have a megaphone right here on social media or on the ground, be prepared to counter those propaganda that the PPP will be set out to start as of tomorrow. All their propaganda networks are going to have just what it is, propaganda. Be prepared to counter it, guys, without any fear. My name is Mark Benchop. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on. And give Jagdeo a dose of his medicine. He called on people to chase APNU AFC officials out of communities. It's time that karma revisit, or karma knocks at the doorsteps of Barra Jagdeo. Listen to this for a quick 30 seconds.
Right across Guyana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country, you're on them.
Wherever Jagdeo goes, he should be chased out. He shouldn't be made to feel as though everything is fine, everything is well. He's going to go and promise part-time jobs. He's going to give out some cash grants. All these things he's going to give out. And in a press conference, expect to see him. He's going to put on that sad, and they always try to come after me, and they want me, and all manner of things he's going to do and he's going to say. Do not believe him. I'm going to be watching some of you. Do not believe him. Until tomorrow evening, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Thanks again to Vice News. God bless you all.
Source.
Okay, well,
maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jerome?
So my relationship, nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
I mean, he lives next door to you.
Yes.
You know, he was able to arrange meetings and catch-ups with you at any point in the day. He claims
As a friend, yeah.
He claims that through his very close relationship with you, that he's able to get any deal done.
Well, I don't know
and
if that's
able to change laws for investors.
But then which law has been changed for any investor?
So Sue told us that if you want to get anything done in Guyana, you need some hookups. I'm very close with the Vice President and the other officials. The Vice President and I share a very close relationship. Also, if we do the business, he'll help out no matter what. There's no one else who can help like he does. He also said us when he's talking about prospect investors that the Vice President said he can change the Constitution. He said he can manage. Everything is going to be done soon. He's really treating us as brothers. He's already trying to help us as much as possible. Of course, I need to give back to him in return.
Yeah, but that is, I don't know about giving back, but I do that to everybody who comes to my office. The American companies come here to see me, and they need a meeting. You asked to see me. I have an open door policy since I was president, so people come to see me. But I've had a long history of being in public office.
How long have you been living at Jagdeo's house?
No, the people just I don't know what I'm doing. They never do nothing there. You understand?
Yeah. So how long have you been living at Jagdeo's house?
Huh?
How long have you been living at Jagdeo's house?
Hello?
Yeah. How long have you been living at Jagdeo's house?
For 1 year now.
Okay. So how much rent do you pay every month?
I pay 1.2.
1.2 million Guyana dollars?
Yeah.
Now when Vice News interview you, did they put you on camera?
No.
Did they record you?
I don't know nothing there.
Okay, so do you know?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, so you don't know?
No, I don't know nothing there.
So why would they lie? Why would they lie on you? Are they lying on you, Mr. Su?
I don't know why he lies for me. Them people claim to place. I don't know. It's no true. I tell you, 100% no true. They not think this. You understand what I said?
So did you, when you met with Mr. Jagdeo, because he met you, he called you over, what did you guys discuss?
No, just the people come invest in Guyana. So that's it.
So, and you issued a statement. Who wrote the statement for you in English?
I get the translator. Okay.
I got you. So
Yeah, thanks.
let me ask, before you go, Mr. Su, before you go, the APNU coalition government, did you have a good relationship with them?
No, the people is friend, you know. I don't know nothing for them. You understand? I in the road, I drive for, you know. You understand everything is no true. Mark, everything no true. I tell you.
So let me ask you this here. When you paid you for 1 year, you've been living at Jagdeo's house. You pay him cash or?
I rent the house. You know.
So do you pay him through the bank or cash?
I pay open the check. I pay for the check.
Which bank? Because I want to know which bank.
Where are you coming from?
No. Which bank? Is because I know there's several banks. Is it GBTI?
Where are you from?
Mr. Sue.
Yeah.
Let's not play. I'm here to. I am. No. I know I'm not coming anywhere with a check. I'm here to help you. So you pay him with check, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So let me ask you this: do you know?
Johnson, everybody was plan something different. You know, I is businessman. I don't want headache. I don't want nothing it's not true. You know, I want everything is no. When the news is not true, it's best. It's not good for everybody. You understand? I pay for the check. I pay for the every month. How much money? That's it. You understand what? Hello?
So yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you. So when was the last time Mr. Jagdeo called you?
We spend a cold steady Atlanta, you know.
You guys meet and discuss stuff steady.
No, I spend, you know, I just made the call and then it's nothing. And that was it. Anything I call you back, okay? I tell my secretary call you, okay?
Oh, so that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks very much, sir.
Oh, well, before you go, how long have you been doing business in Guyana, Mr. Sue?
I do business long time, maybe 20 years long.
And you do not give politicians bribe. You have never given a politician a bribe.
I don't have a lot thing for politician. I don't do nothing for politician.